Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. And Captain America, plural? No, it's singular, but still, whatever. This wasn't good. This wasn't good. And there's a reason why it wasn't good. And I'm going to get into all that good stuff. First, let's give you the first reason why it wasn't good. 3 writers. Too many cooks in the kitchen, my peeps. Too many cooks in the kitchen. Let's go. This issue is called Future Proof. It's a one and only, and this is going to shoot into 2 different comic books. I'll explain that in a minute. Writers, Tochi Onyebushi, Jackson Lansing, and Colin Kelly. 3 writers on this. The art was fantastic. You know why? One artist, and that artist happens to be Mattia Del Iulis. Letters by VC's Joe Caramagna, and covers, all of them apparently, by Alex Ross. What? There's two main covers for this. Okay, there's 2 main covers for this comic book. Alex Ross did them, and there's a bunch of variant covers out there too. Okay, let's move on from there. Also, Captain America was created by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby. Okay, so this is basically Arnim Zola doing his thing, right? Arnim Zola comes out and he's beating some people up and he's yelling and he's speechifying and he's talking about this, that, and the other thing, and America sucks, and all the things that Arnim Zola should do. There's a couple of silly parts, but I'm perfectly willing to forgive that. It's Arnim Zola. Just it is what it is. But then all of a sudden, the Captains of America show up. And yes, there are 2 of them still. Sam has a new shield. It looks okay. Whatever, I don't care. This is not a toy I'm going to buy. This is not a comic book I'm going to follow. But here they come, the Captains of America. There's only 2, and they go after him and they beat him up. They get separated at some point. Basically, he's got a giant rocket that he built under a skyscraper that he either bought or built also. And the thing that he's pointing out, and this is good, this is a good hook, that he did all of this stuff legally. He built a rocket in his city, under a skyscraper, blah, 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 and he did it all 100% legally within the confines of the laws of the United States. There is such a good hook there for a longer storyline. The idea that people are able to, like the idea of 3D printing guns. You know what I'm saying? Hugely illegal in Canada. You will go to jail right next to your 3D printer will go to jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, they will seriously send you to jail for a really freaking long time if you get caught 3D making guns, you know? They want full accountability, and that's most countries. But in America, no, that's not the case. Am I anti-gun? Hells no. Hells no. I loves me some guns. You know what I'm saying? Guns are awesome. But you got to be smart with them, which I believe most gun owners are. Anyway, I'm just simply pointing out there are some things that are legal in America that are completely illegal in other parts of the world, in almost every other part of the world, right? So there's a great hook there. The idea that you can get away with doing this, that, and the other thing, and it's okay. People won't even turn away from it. They'll just simply say, oh, where's my share? Where's my cut? It's almost like, the United Mafia of New Jersey, right? I say that as a good Italian. Instead, it's just some goofy little thing. And then they get separated, and there's different versions of Arnim Zola saying pretty much the same thing to each other, but a little bit more intricate. He talks to Captain America proper, Steve Rogers, about how, you're sacrificing yourself for these people and why. America's not that good in the first place. And then there's not really much there, right? Should have gone with the original hook. And Captain America beats him by throwing his shield. No, that's it. There's nothing special about it. There's nothing magical. He just had to sweat, and he had to grit his teeth, and then he had to throw his shield. That's it. That's all that had to be done. You know why so many people don't like Captain America today? I just told you. And then we go to Sam Wilson, who's the same thing except a little bit higher elevation. And the speech on him involves whips and chains. No, this isn't a sadomasochistic thing. It's an obvious allusion to slavery. America's history with slavery, which, guess what, is the world's history with slavery. Hi. But this is talking about, whips and chains and slavery and running from slave masters and federal agents and da-da-da-da-da-da. Hi, this is some hard left liberal who's actually more central than he realizes, who's just going to, oh my God, America's deep blot sin. America's the only country in the world that actually deals with slavery. Yeah, Canada doesn't deal with its slavery issue. There was slavery in Canada. In fact, during the time, it was actually called Britain. It wasn't called Canada. Slavery was ended before Canada became a thing. But it was still Britain. British people were the main transgressors in the transatlantic slave corporation. And Canadians will sit there and say, we've got a problem with indigenous, the way that we've treated indigenous people, Native Americans, so to speak, but no problems with slavery. No, what are you talking about? You're going to deny that there were slaves here? You're going to deny the fact that you had all this to do with slavery? You're the reason why slaves were coming over? I don't know what you're talking about. They don't understand. They don't understand. Neither does the entire Middle East. Neither does the world. Okay. You see, when you start bringing up ridiculously stupid talking points in a comic book, this is the kind of thing that happens. You can't have a civilized conversation with people who are trying to preach to you in a comic book and bring up the most basic drudges of social awareness. Stop. How about you just tell a goddamn good story for once? Is that so hard? The rest of this, and by the way, how does Sam beat Arnim Zola? Because there was nothing leading up to it, so of course there's nothing at the end. He throws his shield. He throws his mighty shield, and he blows up that version of Arnim Zola. But first he sweat, and he grit his teeth. And then they both come together. Both the Captain Americas come together. Now's where it starts to get really interesting. And the way they're able to stop the rocket and beat Arnim Zola is that they sweat and they grit their teeth and they throw their freaking shields. I want to say you couldn't write such dreck. And yet here we are. Like I said, there are 3 cooks in the kitchen. Guys, I'm going to say something extremely racist and extremely sexist. The best cooks in the world are Italian men. That's right. There we go. Cancel me, bitch. Cancel me. Italian men are the best cooks in the world. I was just in jiu-jitsu practice today, and my toes bleed ever because they're not. The bottom of my feet are like rough leather, but the tops of my feet, I'm used to striking martial arts. I'm not so used to the grappling martial arts, right? My shoulder actually still, wow, right here, my shoulder still hurts. It's hard to, gotta stretch that one out. Anyway, I'm dead serious too. Wow. It's a good kind of feel though. It's good kind of pain. Anyway, when my feet bled, marinara sauce all over the freaking floor. It was horrible and great at the same time. You know what I'm saying? People were sitting there trying to roast up pasta and cooking it because we bleed marinara sauce. That's how amazing cooks we are. I'm going to tell you the one thing that's going to piss me off more than you think I'm pissed off at a bad comic book. Nah, you haven't seen anything. No, walk into my kitchen when I'm cooking because I'm everywhere. And if I turn and there's one of my kids, or God forbid, my freaking non-Italian wife, somebody's getting yelled at. You think I'm being facetious. No, I will actually, a dark blot in Professor Bill's life. If you come into my kitchen while I am cooking, I will legitimately scream at you. And if you don't get out fast enough, I might curse at you also. Right? Like, dude, I don't care. I don't care. Get the F out of my kitchen when I am cooking. That's how wild I am. And I'm boom, boom, boom. I'm frying things up. I'm stirring things up. I'm checking the oven really quick, right? I'm doing all these different things. Stay the hell out of my kitchen. Don't even think about it. I haven't had an incident like that in a long time. Why? Because I've gotten under control? Nah, people don't like getting yelled at in my home. It is what it is. But nobody complains. You know why? Because we're eating good. We're eating good. Anyway, diverted from the comic book a little bit, right? This comic book, man. Oh, this freaking comic book. There was a hook, and there was a really good hook. I already explained that in the beginning of this video. You want to make a good comic book? Here's the deal. When's the last time Sam Wilson has been useful? Right? We talk about useful idiots and things like that. When's the last time Sam Wilson's been useful? I mean, they're trying so hard to make him copy Captain America. Yes, actual Steve Rogers, the actual Captain America. They make him good at speeches also. Okay, maybe that rubbed off on him, right? Because Captain America gives his best speeches in comic books. Superman after that. They're trying to make Sam Wilson after that. Recently started trying to make Luke Cage good at speeches also. Look, at the end of the day, stop. Just stop. Okay? You don't need people being a bunch of Mary Sues and they could do everything. Sam Wilson sucks as a character. They tried to make him a mutant years ago. 4-issue miniseries with Falcon. There were at least 2 of them. But on one of them, they tried to make him a mutant. Didn't work. Same thing with Cloak and Dagger. Didn't work. They backed out of that real quick. Oops. Retcon. We thought he was a mutant. Anyway. Why is my hair doing that? Why I got that Superman thing going? So they make him good at speeches also. Look, he was hanging out with Captain America. I can let it go. Whatever. But now they go and they give him a shield and the costume also. Okay. If the character sucks that much, get rid of him. I don't think the character sucks, by the way. I got a Falcon right up on the wall right there. You know what I'm saying? I think he's an awesome character. Holographic wings, regular wings, you name it. I love it. And they should still do the thing where he talks to birds. Where's Red Wing? Where's Red Wing? Guys, let me tell you something. And this relates to the comic book and this relates to the character of Captain America. I am a world traveler. Right? I'm American. I'm in Canada now. Do you know in Canada, there are plenty of people wearing Captain America shirts. Kids and adults. Kids and adults. I don't care if I'm walking in a store. I don't care if it's people coming into martial arts practice. Wherever I go, I see people wearing Captain America shirts. I don't see Thor shirts, Ant-Man shirts, Iron Man shirts. I don't see any of these other shirts. I see Captain America shirts. I go to Saudi Arabia, where they sent freaking planes after our buildings. And I see Captain America shirts. I go to Egypt, where I get people who say, Americans aren't tough. You just know how to throw things, rockets and things like that. Yeah, we're very good at it. You want to try us? And I see them wearing Captain America shirts. I go to countries where people hate America. They distrust America. They love Captain America. Why? Why? Understand that. And suddenly you got a good character. It's because of the movies. It's that simple. Here's a true hero who, no matter what, he doesn't compromise his principles. He'll disobey orders to do the right thing. He'll go against his own country to do the right thing. And it's not just his moral compass. His moral compass is almost perfectly accurate. This is a good person who will fight for what he believes in against overwhelming odds, whether it's with his brain or his muscles or his shield. This is a guy who will overcome all odds and put his body on the line. And even when he doesn't have anything left, he'll tell you, I could do this all day. This is a character who inspires people all over the world. Idiot! Around the world. And these people can't write a good Captain America comic book? You have all failed the comic book industry. I shouldn't be this angry at failure. But that's all that it is miserable failure. There was a hook here. You could have went with that. This is something I was thinking. Right before we got to that big picture where Captain America's eyes go, and there's a big star there, and you see his friends around. You see Bucky. Bucky's a joke. Bucky's a joke right now. Bucky should be one of the greatest characters out there. And the original, the Brubaker Bucky, right? That's the character that inspired the movie version, Sebastian Stan, where people are just like, women are just like rubbing their legs like a cricket when they see him. People are like, they feel so much emotion for this character. Not in the comic books where he's a goddamn joke. He's a joke. He's running around, okay, I don't like you. You're not cool. Some woman just beat me up. And then all this, like... The disconnect is insanity to me. It's insanity. Who are you hiring, Marvel, to get people to do this stuff? I don't want to work for you, Marvel. You're a garbage company. I will never want to work for you. All right? I can't imagine that possibly happening. You need massively new management. All right? A new company. I have no idea. No idea. And yet, I still think in some ways that this could be better. Right before I saw that page, I right away started thinking they need to kill Sam Wilson. No. I'm dead serious. The things I just said about Sam Wilson, I'm dead serious. They need to kill Sam Wilson. They need to do it in a way very similar to what they could have done right here in this comic book in and of itself. They could have simply had him flying up to the rocket. Do it in more than one issue if possible, but you could have done it in an issue 1. Absolutely. He's flying up to the rocket, and the rocket's about to explode. Actual Captain America, Steve Rogers, he can't fly. So he can't get to the rocket in time. And it's going up, and I don't have to explain this stuff because it's already happened. Remember Bucky with the drone back in Germany? Yeah, that. And now Captain America is completely helpless to watch it again. You want to mess with him a little bit more? Have an Arnim Zola drone. Talking to him as it happens. Then you can have him smash the damn thing with the shield. Have Captain America on his knees with his shield next to him, dropped right next to him. Hands like this. What am I going to... Grasping empty air as the rocket goes up. As Sam Wilson says something like, "It's my choice." Just like in the original Captain America movie, this is my choice. Sam Wilson is now a hero who just saved all of New York City. Maybe the entire East Coast. This isn't hard. Sam Wilson obviously doesn't work as a character. You could get somebody who knows what the hell they're doing. I mean, Heroes, the TV show Heroes, had a character who, one brother was omnipotent and was basically rogue, could do everything everybody could do, and then didn't even need to touch them anymore, right? Just had to be close to them once. Anyway, he was omnipotent. And then he had another character who could fly. He could fly. And he was still a very interesting character. Whatever, man. Jeff Johns made Hawkman extremely interesting. You need to hire him to get... If you're not going to get Jeff Johns to make Falcon interesting, kill the character. Of course he'll come back, but don't let him come back anytime soon. Make it a couple of years. Invest in killing one of your characters. And this way, a character who actually does work, Captain America, Steve Rogers, for those who are still a little bit confused, suddenly he's got the same thing. All that stuff that happened to him back in the day, all of a sudden, look what happens. Now he's all sorts of freaked out. I just watched it happen again, and I was completely helpless to do anything about it. Now he starts going into that original hook. Like, that's a hook. But now you go into that original hook that was lost in this one. All these things I did, and I did them legally. Now he starts going after Arnim Zola. He starts going after the bigger powers, right? All that he's doing, he's got this going on. Maybe Isaiah Bradley wants to join up with him because he sees Cap acting reckless, right? And he's saying, I can't hang out with you because, I've already lost so many partners like this. Bucky comes and hangs out with him for a little while. Cap, it's okay. Whatever. It's like, really? It's okay? Look what happened to you. And you see you focus in on the arm. Like, there's so much that you could do. Right? Isaiah Bradley goes off and does something stupid. Now, they can't have that because Isaiah Bradley is a visible minority, so you have to make sure that he's a hero every time. But he's also a kid, and kids do stupid things all the time. A little bit of reality. with your fantasy comics, right? No, we can't do that, especially with a Captain America-esque character and surrounding crew. He goes off and he does something stupid, and Cap proper has to go and rescue him. You could have him show that he is still capable. He just needed a little bit of help, a little bit of guidance, a little bit of mentoring. Maybe he does start mentoring him. Right? Maybe there's that legacy thing. Maybe there's something there. Who knows? Who cares? Instead, you've got this, where there's just two heroes fist bumping each other all the time and smiling at each other all the time. I swear to God, I thought they were going to start freaking mouth kissing soon. Like, this is, like, what the hell are you doing with the comic books? It makes me so angry. Am I nerd raging? Maybe. You know what I'm saying? 46 years old, still nerd raging. Whatever. Fine. I look at this and I say, like, I feel so insulted. That's what I feel like. I feel so insulted. They keep putting out this absolute garbage and expecting us to obediently buy their books. It's not going to happen. I hate the idea that the movies are better than the comics. And if there's any writer out there who dares to even think, well, of course the movies are going to be better, shame on you. Shame on you, and you need a better profession. Because you're just saying that you can't. I promise you. Books have always been better. Always. There's never been a time in cinema history where some jackass hasn't gotten up and said, but it was better in the books. And you want to be the opposite? You want to sit there and say, well, of course the movies are going to be better. What new age nonsense is that? Because those movies are taking inspiration from the older books. When there weren't as many books out, but those fewer books were making so much more money. Anybody in the industry who says it can never go back to those times, you need to be fired. Go collect your unemployment and go learn to code. Go do something else in your life. You'd figure at some point, I've always fallen back on being an English teacher, right? Since 2008, when I first started being an English teacher. Every other thing that I've done, there's some people like, he always talks about all the things he does. Yeah. Shh. I've always fallen back on being an English teacher. At some point, you start thinking, there's nobody else left who wants to learn English. I've gone places where the village elder would say, nobody cares about English here. Nobody speaks English here. Nobody here cares about English. And yet I'm making money. Say what you want. Believe what you want. But do and find out the truth. Just like in the news media, just like in the corporate world, you have to hire people who have a similar mindset. This could go into a talk about diversity hiring and things like that, which, dude, if you've got people of a similar mindset from from a more diverse crowd, by all means, please do so. I don't care if it's checking off boxes or not, but at the end of the day, you have to have like-minded people who actually care about the comic books. I just had a conversation with Gregory Wright. Some of you guys might not know who Gregory Wright is. Feel free to look him up. Really good Marvel writer. Just had a conversation with this man. He was talking about how Mark Grunwald was such a stickler for continuity. He would hire him, and this is actually about Captain America, too. This is about Captain America. for some of those Captain America comic books while Mark Grunwald was writing them, and he was also one of the senior editors, right? He would turn around and he would hire people. Hey, I need you to come over and do such and such. I'm going to put out a video very soon about What If issue number 10, featuring when Jane Foster, what if she became Thor, right? Roy Thomas, one of the greatest minds ever. He's still alive, by the way. One of the greatest minds ever in comic books. And he called on Jim Shooter the year before Shooter took his place as a senior editor, or something close to what it would eventually be, what should eventually be called, editor-in-chief. Hired Shooter. He's like, Shooter, listen, I need you to go over the continuity in this. He's like, sure, boss. They would pay people just to go over continuity. That's how much they cared about the comic books back then. That's why people are making movies about that time period in comic books, not the modern day. Somebody wants to say, well, Jane Foster being Thor, this comes from Jason Aaron. Jason Aaron got that idea from a comic book made in 1978. You want to continue the conversation? I am so disappointed at the state of comic books right now. You've got great people on the sidelines because maybe they said the wrong thing once. This is heartbreaking. This is a really long video, and I'm going to end it in the next minute. Guys, this is terrible. One, too many cooks in the kitchen. Too many cooks in the kitchen. My Italian male toxicity is coming out again. Too many cooks in the kitchen on this issue. But even when they tell you, we're going to have a Sam Wilson Captain America comic book shootout from this, and we're going to have a Steve Rogers Sentinel of Liberty comic book, Captain America comic book coming out of this also. I don't care about either of them. Right away, Sam Wilson, he's going to have something to do with Misty Knight and with Wakanda and stuff like that. Why? Because he's black. And it looks like the White Wolf is going to be there. They're already talking about slaves and whips and chains and stuff like that in this comic book. And now they're going to turn around and do this other stuff here. It's going to be a black comic book. Nobody wants a black comic book. We want good stories. If you could put more stuff in there, make it more black, make it feel right, instead of just a bunch of key words and ideas like that. And again, talking about the worst time in African American history, as opposed to what could be. Like, what is... Do you think, and if anybody thinks that was racist what I just said, first, your mother. 2, I'm Italian. Do you think I want to see a goddamn comic book elevating Italians by talking about the mafia? You think that's all we're about? You think Godfather and Sopranos is all that I'm about? Frickin' slap you in the face for some nonsense like that. You want to talk mafia? I'll frickin' pimp slap you. How about that? No, I'm dead serious. Think about it. Use your brain. Think about this stuff. What moron continues to talk about the worst time, the most embarrassing time in someone's history? You don't think that's going to keep them down? Meanwhile, the Black Panther movie, Chadwick Boseman, Ryan Coogler, a movie that did not focus on the worst time in black people's history in America and blah, 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 all that nonsense. They show what could be. That's one of the best-selling movies in the world. All black cast, all black crew, all black everything. Everything. Whatever the heck the name of that guy is, the white character that was on there. I can't remember his name right now. What do you call it? We'll just call him an ally. Talking about the best time, the best possible time, the elevation of black. I may have stolen that from KRS-One, but you get what I'm saying. And that makes all this money. And some knuckle-brained, and I don't care if the writers are listening to this right now, you should be pissed and you should hate my face because I hate you being so stupid you're going to write about this nonsense. We've got a prime example in something better. I don't mean to be a jerk, but Jesus Christ, I am sick and tired of seeing nonsense being written when so much better could be done. I wish there was money to be made in comic books. I'm sorry, I've interviewed so many writers and artists in the comic book world. Some of these guys are barely making it. Taking jobs they don't want to take just because they got it right. That's not me. I've been unemployed from my main job since March 31st. Today's the 20th. 20 days I've been unemployed from my main job. I still teach English. I'm still making more than enough money that I'm good. I don't need to go back and get something else. But there's so much money to be made in this world if you know what you're doing, if you're smart. Yes, patting myself on the back. Maybe I should pat myself on the brain. Hey, I can rub my belly at the same time. Look at that. Look, if there was money to be made in comic books, I would consider writing comic books, but there's not. There's just not. I know people personally, hanging out with them, hugging them. I know them. We have each other's phone numbers, right? Who are doing Kickstarters on the independent scene. And they're really happy about letting that creativity out. That's great. But they'll also tell you, I can't survive on that. I'm still working a job. I have to. If there was money to be made in comic books, I would consider doing it. But there's not. I'm not going to freaking tether myself to a company that's not even going to call me an employee. There used to be a time people actually cared about the work that they were doing. And for the most part, it's very few and far between that you find people like that. Sometimes you find them and you celebrate them and you read that stuff and you go on. But for the love of God, it's so few and far between. It's like finding a unicorn in the city. I'm done. Guys, I'll talk to you later. Those of you who really like when I get mad at something, there you go. I just popped off big time. This is so disappointing. It is so tremendously disappointing because I don't want to look at a comic book and see what could have been. I want to read a comic book and say, this was impressive, because there's no money in comic books. You think I make a fortune doing these videos? I do these because I want to make them. And I do make a couple bucks off of them. I don't make a lot of bucks off of them. It's just something I do. It's a little side hustle that's fun to do. Some of these people, it's their jobs. They don't seem to want to take it seriously. You got your little check boxes to fill off? Cool. You can also go pick up your check the first of the month. That's a shame. That's a damn shame. Is what it is, man. And until then, I understand why people don't read comic books, but they watch the movies. I understand. And it's a shame. Whatever. Guys, like the video, watch an ad. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.